DisJointed
DisJointed
Productions.
Productions.
Hey, what's shaking, everybody? Yeah, I know, I finally got another episode out, right? Sorry it's been taking so long here. Oh, a little bit more of that music. That was done by my brother, by the way, Andrew Hayes. That little kid you hear, that is my nephew, Mason. And hopefully we're going to do, unfortunately you guys aren't going to hear this, but it's going to be a little podcast that, like, I'm going to pick two songs, Drew's going to pick two songs, and Mason's going to pick two songs. And we're all going to listen to it doing a podcast and stuff over the internets. And this is something that's basically, it's just for us. I would love to share it with you guys, but, you know, I don't have the rights to be sharing music and stuff from artists that aren't me. So if you notice, most of the music, anything that I use on here, it's either done from a jam session that I was part of, or it was done from somebody who's really close to me who made it for me. So I try to keep it as independent and as local as possible, so that way I would hate to get a copyright strike or something, you know what I mean? So but occasionally that forces me to create more music, you know what I mean? This is just with loops and shit like that. Let's see what this one is. What is this? No, it's still Drew's. All right, let's see. I gotta do something more with that, more that I listen to it. That was I believe that's something I made with like GarageBand on my iPhone, right? I'm not trying to brag like, oh, I could do this easy. It wasn't that. I just got really lucky that was kind of catchy with the loops and stuff and the beats I was putting together. But yeah, that's the intro for the Mansplaining Show with Jake Hamill and myself. So, you know, it's little things like that kind of make me happy. Sometimes I forget because I've been able to look at my life. I haven't been able to participate in it. You know what I mean? Like, I could think about music and stuff, but then it kind of goes away from me because my hands are still kind of numb and I don't know if I'm going to be able to play the guitar. You know, there's a lot of things that I like to cook because I'm an artsy guy. And unfortunately, I really haven't been doing much of that because I'm afraid that I'm not going to taste anything. You know what I mean? Just everything in general, man. Every relationship that I have, it's like I feel like I'm just like I'm in my body, but I'm also kind of looking at the whole situation and stuff, and I'm like, hey, do you remember, you know, like my mouth and like my lips have been either chapped or had sores inside because of the chemo for the past 5-6 months. So there's things like, hey man, do you remember what it was like to kiss your wife passionately? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I remember that. It used to be really fun. Yeah, I did. So I'll give you guys a little update on the cancer. Good news. The good news is that the spots on my liver are shrinking. The tumor that I had in my colon, I'm not saying it's gone, but it's not even showing up on the blood test anymore, and that's how they kind of used to track it. So that's really good, unless somehow my cancer found a way to make a tumor that can sneak past the blood test, much like somebody crossing the border, making sure nobody knows about it, which, if you know my bloodline, that is not completely out of the question. So that's what's going on with me. I have to get a dental appointment, I think, taken care of. And I don't want to do that while I'm doing chemo, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, I went to the doctors and saying, hey, this is what, you know, right now my tooth is fine, but if this thing gets any worse, man, I'm going to be in a shitload of pain and I'm going to be in a really bad spot because I'm going to have radiation and shit going through my body and all this other stuff. And the docs are like, you know what, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Why don't you take care of that? Sorry, my wife was texting me. They're like, yeah, why don't you go get the tooth taken care of and stuff for the month of November, and let's take a break from the chemo because we've got some pretty good results. And chances are they're going to put me on a different type of chemo, the pills, which is like a lower dose. I think it's not supposed to be as intense, but still, you know, still doing its job, you know. Like, unless they give me the bottle and it says Fisher Price on it, and I'm like, wait a second, is this real? You know, but that's what that is. So that's good news. That's good news. Hopefully, with they're taking me off one of the medications, and then so I'm just going to be basically doing like one intravenous dose every 2 weeks, which is kind of what I was doing with the chemo. But it was like they were giving me 2 pretty harsh medicines plus the chemo with a pump that I can carry around for 2 days before, you know, and then I would come back on Wednesday. They take the pump out. I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. And like last time, like the last chemo, man, goddamn, this thing fucking wiped me out. If this is your first time listening to this, by the way, normally this podcast I'd be talking to somebody else, but I haven't done a podcast in a couple of weeks. And I thought I'd give all the people who know me like an update on what's going on. So if you're like, hey, I wanted to hear about like how do you go from 9 to 5 life to one of creativity, go check out my library. I got a lot of great interviews. Check out the ones with Chuck Roy, the ones with Jackie Cation, the one I did last week with Marlon Hargrave, and I'm so sorry, as co-host for like if you want to be an actor. That's a great the previous episode is the best one. But either way, back to the chemo, the last one, which was dosage number 9, which is a lot, but there's people that can go all the way to 12. I don't know how you could do that because I'm like, I might be able to do 10. I don't know if I could do anything more on top of that because here's the thing. Okay, so like the Vectavix makes me really, really susceptible to outside temperatures, right? So like even if it's less than 62 degrees, which for Colorado is not cold, my hands will start freezing up. They'll start locking up. It feels like I just dip my hands in ice water. You know what I mean? It used to be like the cold wouldn't bother me when I would drink something, but then it got to the point that even tap water felt like I was drinking dry ice. Because I'm like, holy shit, man, my freaking mouth feels like it's all painful and numb and all this other stuff. Not in a good way. So I got out of, was it 2-3 weeks ago? I get out of the cancer center, St. Joe's Cancer Center, by the way. If you guys have questions or you want to get like tests and stuff done, I can't tell you how helpful these guys have been for me. So definitely check it out. But I get outside and the valets are going to get my car. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing pretty well, but I'm like breathing through my nose and stuff. And I'm like, all right, so I get in my car, I go to make a left turn, and then I put my window down and I take a deep breath through my mouth and my throat closes up. I'm like, what? Okay. Let's not panic. I'm fucking panicking, by the way. And so I'm like, okay, I can't go in reverse because there's people behind me. So I drove around the block, went back and parked and like, is everything okay? Did you forget something? I'm like, I can't breathe. You know, so I'm trying to breathe through my nose and still that's difficult, but at least I'm not passing out, right? So I go upstairs and they're like, you okay? And I'm like, no, I can't breathe. And they're like, my throat's closed up, cold. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's like, sit down. And so they're just having me rest. They're giving me some, they hook me back up and they're like, all right, here's some saline and stuff, and at least try to get some hydrated. Stay here and rest. This is something that, and they're telling the doctor and everything. And there's like, okay, we avoided an accident. We avoided something really bad happening. But I'm like, oh my God, this was really scary. So now I know that like anytime if I got that again, that Vectavix, I'm like, I need to stay in the hospital or at least at the cancer center for an extra 2 hours. Because after I got out of there, because I think it was like 3:00 or something, and I stayed there till 5:30, because I was kind of scared to drive again. You know what I mean? And I get outside and I'm like, okay, let's try not to take any heavy breaths until I get in the car and I turn on the heater, right? So I get in there and the heater's on. I put the window down. I'm like, just through the nose. I'm like, all right, that's pretty good. And then I inhale through the mouth. And luckily my throat didn't close up again. So I'm like, okay, I think I can drive home. And I made it home. I didn't have my throat close up again, at all after that. And that was the second time that happened. The first time I thought it was a fluke because I drove all the way home. And as I was walking up to my apartment, as soon as I took a deep breath, that's when my throat closed up. And I'm like, what the fuck? But I should have told him about it then, and I didn't. But either way, that didn't happen this time because I'm not doing any chemo, at least until December. So We're going to see how all this stuff goes, man. I appreciate everybody who had been donating to the GoFundMe, who have been liking it, who's been sharing it, who just says hi on Facebook, who's been so encouraging. A lot of friends have called me out of the blue. Stacia, I know I got to give you a call back. Stacia, sorry. Because I don't know, for some reason, I think it sounds kind of more exotic when I said Stacia. Like, Stacia, my darling, instead of Stacia, I don't know. She might think that's funny. Hopefully she does. But either way, that's what's going on as far as like the cancer updates and stuff. It's kind of weird because let me tell you something, how self-conscious I was getting. I could sit here at my computer and just like not really moving around too much, just watching movies or whatever, and typing along. And then I look down and I see so many skin flakes all over. I'm like, is that dandruff? I'm like, no, that's from your face. And also from various other parts of your body. Like, my skin had gotten so dry, it was just kind of like, all right, now I feel self-conscious about it. Like, I felt like not just wearing a cloth mask, but wearing like a hockey mask or something like that when I go out in public and stuff, or like an iron mask. That would be really, really awesome. Not like Iron Man, but more like Phantom of the Opera or, the Man in the Iron Mask. And just so that way I'm like, you think you were born in darkness, but I have cancer, like something like that. Bane would probably be, that would be cool too, but there would just be too much flakiness going off of me. But that seems to have stopped. My weight loss, this is really fucking weird. And I'm not trying, well, I am kind of being funny about this, but I'm also being serious. If you're really, really overweight and you're praying to whatever God that you pray to, that somehow you can magically lose all this weight, you really, really need to be specific. I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I had been doing that for years, and holy shit, this was not what I intended. When I went into the hospital with the broken neck and got the surgeries and shit, guys, I weighed about 360, 365, right? And I had been that weight for quite some time, for quite a few years, so I just kind of got used to it. And one of the other bad things about the chemo and stuff is that you just really don't want to eat because you can't taste anything. I can't tell, like, one of my favorite places to go to get a hamburger is In-N-Out Burger. I haven't been since before the surgery. Why? Because every other place that I've eaten, like at McDonald's or any fast food, or even most of like even processed food like mac and cheese or certain pastas and stuff like that I used to make, none of that tastes the same to me anymore. Because my taste buds had like gone away. If I ate a little piece of candy, like with chocolate, my mouth would feel like it was on fire. And so I just drink some water and to kind of get the pain to go away. But I'm like, well, I guess I'm not eating the rest of this candy bar. Same thing with a lot of, not all candy, but most candy. And for somebody who was really fat and kind of ate his feelings on a regular basis, it's very, very difficult to not be able to eat. I'm not asking for sympathy on that because they're like, oh, poor fat guy couldn't eat. You know what I mean? But it was a coping mechanism that I no longer had. And so it's been 6 months. I'm not trying to go back to it, but I have been able to taste a little bit more food. Just with every day, I could taste things just a little bit more, and certain things don't bother me, or they hurt just a little bit less. And it's really, really exciting because I'm like, man, maybe I get to see. It's like I'm taking a vacation in Arizona from Thanksgiving till like the following Tuesday. But in a way, it's kind of like I get to go see me again, if that makes any sense. It sounds silly, and I think it is, but it's the truth. I'm like, I get to go and do things that I used to do. Not all the things that I used to do. Come on, I like staying married, but little things just like being able to go to IHOP with my buddy Hamill and talk about comedy. You know what I mean? After like a mic that we went to, which I hope to God we get to do that. Little things like that, or like, when somebody in the family makes like, hey, here's the salsa, or here's this thing that I made for everybody. I want to be able to taste it and say, oh my God, I could really taste it, and it tastes fucking awesome. So hopefully I'll get to do that. I've got a couple of weeks before that happens. At least 14 days? 16 days. So let's see how things are going. But either way, as far as the weight loss goes, I went from 360, 365, and I weigh about 255, 260 right now. So I'm still fat, but holy shit, am I not nearly as fat as I used to be. And it's taken me a while because of like body dysmorphia and things like that. Because when I weighed 200, I thought I was about like 300 pounds fat, right? When I was 220, I thought I looked like I was 300. When I was 265, I thought that I looked like I was 300. Now, the funny thing is that when I was like 325 pounds, I thought I still looked like I was 300. When I got to 360, I just stopped looking. And it was just kind of a weird thing. So I've had a real chance to really, really take a good look in the mirror and be like, who is it that you want to be, Dave? All right. So the spots on your liver are going away. The tumor is going away. So far, what they're saying is it doesn't seem to be cancer anywhere else in your body right now, even though if all that stuff goes away, guys, I still have stage 4 cancer. It's not, I mean, it's going to go away, but it's not going to go away. And so I have an opportunity to get really healthy afterwards. And even like right now, which is what I'm doing, like now I have to, they're telling me I need 90 grams of protein every day. I have been having a can of soup a day, basically. So that's one of the reasons, that's how I lost a shitload of weight. It wasn't intentional. It was just, that's all I can keep down. But now I got a plan ahead of me. I'm like, okay, like I went to the gym the other day and normally I would try to make a little bit of cash because I can't make too much, and try to find a way to kind of like, all right, let's just put it this way without putting anything out there on the internet. I wasn't going to the gym every day. And so I went there but initially when they said when I can go back, I'll only do the treadmill and do the sit down bicycle, instead of kind of like the normal bicycle one. And this time they're like, no, actually, if you want to do just like really, really light weights, like 5-10 pounds on the weight machines and the pulleys and stuff, go right ahead. But just be very careful because your neck and your shoulders, there's still a lot of nerve damage in there and there's still a lot of things that are healing. So let's not try to stress it out. I'm like, all right, I could do that. When I started doing the weight workout, the super light 10-pound weights, my body, if my body could scream in ecstasy, like, thank you so much. We haven't, like, all these nerves are activating. It's kind of like turning on, trying to start a car that you haven't started up in about 3 months. You're like, the battery's almost dead, but maybe it might turn over. And that's exactly what was going on, at least with my body. And it's like I was so happy and so ecstatic. Now, I was also very shaky walking around there. Like some days I need my cane. Most days I don't. But there's sometimes if I know I'm going to be on my feet for a long time, then I'm definitely taking the cane with me. And so that's what I did. And I'm doing great. I can't wait to go back. I'm like, instead of spending my day doing other things, this has to be part of my day. 4 out of 7 days a week, or maybe 5. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, man, I should be at the gym for at least doing whatever light workouts I can to start building muscle again. Because let me tell you, when you lose over 100 pounds, a lot of that muscle goes with it too, especially when you're on chemo. So my body looks different a lot now because of all of, the excess freaking body that's needed. So, all I could do was work out, do some cardio, try to sweat, see what I can do, and then move on from there. So I'm excited about the future in that respect, right? Let's see. We also did, I told you about the Arizona trip. Looking forward to see a lot of my friends. I'm hoping to see, I wish I could see everybody, and I know I can't. But Amy and Aaron, I really hope to see you guys because, you guys are a big part of my life. Clay and Amanda, man, I haven't met your kid, Elliot, yet, and I'm so excited to, I would really love to hang out with you guys, just because, freaking Clay and I have a lot of history together when it comes to creativity. He's the one who kind of showed me how to paint. He's the one who showed me and kind of inspired me to get into music and learn how to play an instrument. And in that respect, he also helped me. I don't think he realizes it or not, because I thought just, because I studied acting, that's all I was ever going to be. And I mean, at times if somebody says, if you're an actor, I would say I'm an artist. If they said, are you a comic? I'm like, well, I do stand-up comedy, but I consider myself an artist. You know what I mean? Because I've been able to take that creativity that I had, that I was able to bring to the stage in the theater, and bring that through various other parts of my life. And not that that's what he was trying to show me, but that's what I learned from him. And so he's a very special friend because of that. And Hamill, because fuck, man, that guy's my brother in comedy. We've been doing podcasts and shit like that and open mics and fucking shows forever. So I can't wait to hang out with him. It's going to be a great time. And family, I can't wait to see. Obviously, I'm staying with my cousin Jim and his family, but I also looking forward to seeing my sister, Teresa, seeing my sister Toy, me and her daughter, Ashley. It's weird when I talk to all three of them on the phone because they all sound the same over the phone. I'm like, man, Jermaine's genes are fucking strong in this, So I'm not sure about mics and shows. I'm going to put a little clip over on the Phoenix comedy scene and say, hey man, these are the dates that I'm in town. If anybody has a show or even knows of Mike or something like that I get hit up in those days, please give me a holler. I would love to go to it. So, let's see. I don't think I want to talk about elections. I don't think so. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'll figure out what I want to do later. Okay, so this one thing I wanted to share with you. Normally I don't share like comedy sets for you, but this is a 3-minute set. And I'm going to play, this was a Comedy Works that I just did yesterday. Was it Wednesday? No, Tuesday. Tuesday, I was at the New Talent, and I always have this weird love-hate relationship every time I do a set at Comedy Works, because I love that room so much, and I enjoy the set so much, and I'm really, really excited, and I'm like really happy with the work that I've done. And then, stupidly, I sit around for the notes section afterwards, and so I am going to tell you what the notes were, and I don't think the notes were wrong. I will say that now. I just wasn't happy to hear it. I will play this for you guys and tell me what you think here. Okay, and let's go.
Give it up for David Germain!
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, how's everybody doing, huh? Yeah, everybody's having a good night. I feel I should probably explain this cane here, right? I used to be a cook in a kitchen, right? I don't call myself a chef, but I thought I hurt my arm because I couldn't move it up past here. I thought it was a blown rotator cuff, right? And then 4 months later, I can't move either arm or my legs. I'm like, all right, shit, I guess we gotta go to the hospital. Yeah. I'm half Mexican. I don't believe in freaking admitting, like, calling out for work, you know what I mean? And so I go there and they're like, yeah, your neck is broken. I'm like, what? You know, like, what do you mean my neck is broken? They're like, well, you know how a neck normally works? Yours doesn't do that, right? And the first thing I could think about was like, take that, millennials. I had a broken neck. I still worked for 4 months. I never called out money. You know, like a moron, you know? But no, I was the old guy in that kitchen, so it was my job to train a lot of the staff. And it wasn't like a crazy kitchen, it was a pizza kitchen. And I don't know if you know this, but you can't train the young kids today the way that we were trained when we were teenagers. Right. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, you can't. You know, like I'm a Gen Xer, I'm 46, big whip, that doesn't mean anything. What were we? We were the first ones to rediscover heroin. That's the only thing we did. And I don't know, anybody here work in a kitchen or in a restaurant? Woo! Yeah, exactly. You know that the cooks are the nicest people in that whole entire restaurant. You always take your feelings into account. And so this pizza, like, there's one time this pizza that comes out of the oven, like, first of all, pizzas usually are shaped in a circle. This one looked like a rhombus that got its wallet stolen and beat up in the back alley of this club, you know? So I said politely, like, hey, which one of you jackasses made this pizza that looks like an abortion? And I could tell exactly which kid it was because I saw his eyes starting to water up, and I'm like, all right, I took it too far. I took it too far. It's just I asked you to use a spoon to make this pizza, and it looks like you made it with a coat hanger. And of course, HR standing right behind me, and that's strike 2 for me. The first write-up I got was bullshit. They said I fat-shamed a customer, and I'm like, what? I don't know if you know that. Like, at the time, I weighed about 350 pounds, and this guy was about my weight now. And now, it's not the same as like a black guy using the N-word, but I think I should be able to fat-shame anybody my size or smaller. Guy kept complaining, sending everything back. He's like, well, what's something on the menu that I've never had before? I'm like, I'm guessing exercise. That's a nice guy that I am, you know? Oh my gosh. Everybody get out and vote, drop off your ballots today? Good, that's awesome. I don't know if it's just because I'm a bitter Gen Xer, but did anybody else's ballot read like a 1-star Yelp review? All right, that's my time, guys. Thank you very much. My name's David. Give it up for Alice Clayton, everybody. Thank you. Oh. Hey, taking the show with me.
Ending with a mic drop. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was the Comedy Works set. So, the notes that they gave me, and by the way, I was feeling like I was on cloud 9 because of that. And there's some technical issues with that set. I'm not saying that it's perfect, far from it. Okay, but I was feeling really, really good. I'm hanging with some comics that I knew from years ago, in the green room, and we're just having a great fucking time. I just forgot how much I love being downtown and hanging with the comics. And so the guys come in, they do the notes and stuff, and they're really, the way they do the notes and stuff is very different than the way that they used to when Deacon Gray was running the open mic night there at Comedy Works, which is fine. I'm not shitting on what Deacon Gray was doing. One, because it doesn't deserve to. It doesn't deserve to be shit on. On top of that, he passed away a couple of years ago. So I'm definitely not going to like, what freaking, and another thing, I'm going to go dance on this guy's grave. No, I'm not doing that. So the first one of the things that they do is that how they time the sets is that they see, when you started, how long it was until your first laugh, how many laughs per second that you get, right? And there's some other things in there too, but it escapes me right now. But those are the two things that kind of stand out to me. Sorry. 1 second, I didn't want to keep sniffling into the mic. So I didn't really get a laugh until like 30 seconds in, which is really, really late. That's not desirable. So there was like, all right, I'm listening back to that. I'm like, there's a couple of jokes and things like that I could have hit before that 30 seconds. And then there also, somebody said, you kind of mumbled a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I did trip over some words there. I get that. And then another joke was like, you might want to be careful about making many jokes on millennials, because if there's a lot of young kids, they might not get it or they might not like it. And in my mind, and which is a good note, by the way, that's a good note. And nobody in there were 3 people giving notes, and guess what? Nobody was being malicious about it. Everybody, they were being professional about it. If anybody's being unprofessional, it's how I felt inside. So when they said, you got to be careful, maybe millennials might find that upsetting. And part of me was kind of like, I don't care if they find it's upsetting or not. I know that shit's funny, because I think funny is funny. And on top of that, this is the thing with the ballot. That was like a new joke that I really shouldn't have told. Because my whole thing that I was going to end the whole thing with is that, like, I make a lot of jokes about millennials and Gen Z kids and stuff, and it's not because I hate you. It's just I'm jealous because as a Gen Xer. Well, we didn't grow up with parents that told us that we loved us on a regular basis, especially not our dads. I don't know if you know that, but that's a new invention throughout history that you guys got that nobody else did. And so I'll find a way to work that in there, even if I have a bunch of young kids that are working. Because I've done that before. I've done jokes like that, or some of those jokes when I was in Austin, and nobody fucking laughed. Nobody laughed because they just thought I was shitting on all of them. And guess what? I was. But you know what? That was just making it fun for me. So, and this kind of ties into what I'm going to tell you, or what I'm going to talk about here in just a second. So they told me, like, okay, maybe, be careful about that. I mean, it's a funny bit, but, just be careful about that. And, then the other guy's like, yeah, I think, you're very conversational, which is nice, but I think you need to hit up more mics. Like, do you know the other mics are in town? And he doesn't know me. And there's no reason that he should. But part of you are like, well, I can go to coopenmics.com and find all the mics there because, I'm the one who fucking made that site. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's the fact that I've been here since 2004 doing comedy. So maybe, yes, I do. The reason, like, I have been going to mics, not as many as I have been able to, or that I could, but for the most part, it's like, oh gosh, how do I put it? I don't go to the mics that a lot of these other kids go to. I like going to mics where there's a lot of suburban people, maybe a mixed crowd, a young crowd, an old crowd. My favorite fucking mic, other than my own, that I like going to is the Western Sky Tap Room, the one that Harrison Garcia runs every Friday. And that's one because he has music and comedy. And on top of that, he has a fucking full bar of people that are there to see the show. They're there to see their friends play music. They're there to, they'll be willing to listen to the comedy and stuff. And it's a great fucking crowd because of shit. They don't laugh at everything. Like, for the most part, if you're thinking about doing comedy works, or a comedy club works differently than a bar show. Like, normally I don't get pops and stuff like that as much as I did in that set. But I have gotten some good laughs in bars and before, you know what I mean? It's not like I don't know what I'm doing. But it was just weird, but he's like, maybe, like, you should go try out some of these mics and see how these other guys do it, or write out your set, longhand, and then put an L wherever there's a laugh. And then you could see how many laughs that you actually have there, right? And so there's all these good things because they're trying to, like, it used to be you'd have to do fucking comedy works for a couple of years before you moved up to a B set. So a C set is 3 minutes, a B set is 4. They moved 1 or 2 people up to a B set that night, and I'll be honest with you, I was really bummed out that I was not one of them. And because they're going off of, and this isn't, I'm not shitting on them for this, but what they want for people to move up to the B set, like they're trying to train people to be MCs and to move up in the comedy world. And for that part, they want to make sure that there's a laugh, you know. I'm guessing, and I haven't heard this from, like, I've never spoken to Wendy Curtis, so, like, I don't know what it's like to have a conversation with her, but I'm guessing she's like, no, I just want to have a funny fucking host. I'm not looking for a 10-minute version of Bill Burr or George Carlin or these guys, or like Bill Hicks or anything like that. I want somebody that's going to get the energy up, who's going to be consistently funny. And that's what I'm looking for. And that's the things that she's trying, that I think that the Comedy Works is trying to build. And there's really, really nothing wrong with that. I am going to probably, after the first of the year, I'm going to start signing up again, because I know they want to have clean comedy for the most part during the holidays, which is great, but I don't necessarily have a clean set. You know what I mean? I have kind of like a slightly dark, kind of aggressive set, but I think people, they're not going to want to see that. And so out of respect for the Comedy Works and stuff, I'm like, let me not be there for the next 2 months. And then January, at least I'll know exactly how the cancer pill or the chemo pills and stuff like that are affecting me. And we'll see how things go from there. But yeah, it was funny. It's like, do you get a chance to get out to the mics? And I'm like kind of looking at him with this, like a half grin where I'm like, where my eyes are saying like, are you fucking kidding me? But I'm trying to be polite and not be a dick. And I'm like, not as nearly as much as I used to. And he's just kind of like, oh yeah, shit. Okay. Yeah. Cause he saw me with the cane. But, so before I was leaving, I was like, hey, Roger Hack, he was one of the guys who runs the talent guy. And he's a nice guy too. I haven't had a lot of conversations with other than, hey, what's up, Roger? And that's about it. But he seems like a really, really nice guy and very dedicated to the work that he does. So I respect him for that. It was, let me finish this point. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, Roger, I'm sure you probably already said this, but if you could tell me just one more time, how many laughs per second are you guys looking for? And he's like, generally a laugh every 30 seconds or beneath that. If you're doing a laugh every 20 seconds, then you're really, really crushing it and you're doing a great job. And I'm like, okay, so I just wanted to know because now I know what to build the set for. You know what I mean? And I'm going to go back and I am going to do that. And I'm going to try to fucking have as many laughs as possible per second just to know that I can do it. I'm really not as interested. I'm torn on this one. Part of me wants to move up, but it's out of spite. You know what I mean? Because I'm listening to these guys and stuff who are running the new comedy, the new talent night. And I'm like, I wonder if I can do that job. Right now I can't, but I think that they're definitely trying to, like I said, they're trying to build things to a very specific type of comedy. I'm not sure if I want to be that type of comedian, which is weird. So it's like, wait, Dave, are you telling us you want to be a comedian where the people don't laugh a lot? And I'm like, no, that's not it. And like I said, the notes that they gave me were really good. If I follow those notes, I'm going to be a better comedian. And I really thank them for that because like I told you, I was feeling really great about that set. I thought I fucking thought I killed it. Yeah, you killed it towards the end, Dave. You didn't really do that from the beginning. And that's what you need to work on. Let's work on that. And I'm like, all right, cool. I've got an idea. I've got a place to where I'm going to go. But for the things that I like talking about, because I like talking about religious differences. I like talking about cultural differences. I like talking about like politics to a certain extent. I like talking about the craziness of this world and how fucking odd it could be that we could have so many loving people who hate so much. You know what I mean? And I think that's I like talking about guns. I like talking about all this other stuff. And I don't know if those particular topics I'm going to be able to hit a laugh every 20 seconds. Sometimes I need to freaking really work out a premise and stuff and talk to people and get them to know who I am before I start talking and bringing in the fucking craziness, right? Oh, that's water, but I definitely have a drinking problem. Ooh. So it's kind of weird when I'm looking at that as I'm driving home and I'm like, I want to be able to freaking be good enough where I can advance, like I said, out of spite, because I think I got something good inside me that I want to share with as many people as possible, and that club could definitely help me with that. But I haven't been to the Improv forever. I don't even know if they have an open mic over there. You know what I mean? I don't get down to Colorado Springs nearly as much as I want to, as what I need to. So there's a lot of shit that I got to work on, and that was good. That was good. And also, like, what comic do you want to be? And I'm like, I want to be versatile enough. Like, I don't want to go like to Austin within the year, right? Go to Austin, Texas, and hit on an open mic, and I'm like, all right, I'll give you 3 minutes, and I waste 30 seconds before I even get to a laugh. And I'm like, no, I want to be able at least to show, like, no, I know the basics and stuff, at least as far as club comedy. And here, let me show you what this is, because, like, it's not like, I don't want to hear 10 minutes of your fucking headliner set. I want to see a really strong, really quick, rapid fire 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I mean, I've seen a lot of other comics in a lot of clubs that just fucking go out there with a Gatling gun full of jokes and just fucking plow the audience down with how funny things are going to be. And then they start kind of throttling back a little bit. So as the bits and the premises get a little bit more intricate, the longer they are. But, I don't know. Then I look at Ari Shafir's latest special on YouTube, Jew, which I think you should all fucking take a look at it. The guy did a whole special, over 45 minutes, by the way, on one topic. That's fucking great. That's freaking killer. And guess what? Some of those jokes are really short and quick, but some of them take a fucking while to get to. And that's him after trimming a lot of fat, and that's what they were telling me at Comedy Works. Like, you need to trim the fat. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So, it is what it is. Like I said, I was excited to be there. I was excited to have a good set. I still think it was a good set. Just not the one that necessarily they were looking for. And I got work to do on it. So maybe I'll do that and add some more freaking, I'll probably do that same exact set again, but I'm going to definitely add some more jokes into it. And we'll see how it goes. So, things are moving forward, man. I'm glad that I finally did fucking 37 minutes. Why did, gosh, man. I feel sorry for anybody. I feel sorry for my wife who has to listen to me on a continuous basis. Alright. Guys, signing off for... Oh, by the way. I am also on Fiverr if you're looking for somebody to do kind of to do a voiceover, or maybe a commercial read for whatever it is your company is, or I could do a lot of things, man. I'll even fucking create a voicemail for you if you really wanted me to. I could do all of that. Prices are negotiable, but I'll do all that through Fiverr.com, and I'm going to put a link to that in the notes of this. And I appreciate you guys for listening, man. Thank you so much. Signing off for the DisJointed podcast. My name's Dave. Y'all have a great week.